Hello indie game fans, even more surprise releases are available right now, where a number of these did release during the Steam Mix Festival, which is not a good idea, so check it out and see what you missed as well. Let's begin with Nevermore the Chamber Door, a top-down action roguelite that is inspired by the works of poet Edgar Allan Poe. In particular, it references a poem named The Raven, details of which inspire the name of the game, but you don't really need to know anything about that to enjoy this title. Rather, it has you moving through portals, facing more powerful enemies as you go further along, with of course boss fights as well. There is permanent progression from run to run as you progressively get stronger, making this a hidden gem of interest. One look at Logicality and I'm sure that you'll be able to see what game this is trying to invoke, since yes, of course, it looks very much like The Witness. However, it is not just limited to line maze puzzles but does have some variety, including environmental puzzles with a pleasant look as well, looking like it's for fans of the genre. This video is brought to you by Chernobylite Season 2 Red Trees, the latest content update to a first-person survival horror game set in the aftermath of the infamous Chernobyl reactor meltdown. The primary new addition is that of a roguelite game mode within the game, which you access by putting on a VR headset in the base, being kind of meta and trippy since it becomes a game within a game, but in terms of game design is something interesting to consider. Additionally, there are 6 new story missions that allow you to learn the true history of Chernobyl within the context of the game, along with some cosmetic add-ons that change the look of your home base, alongside the usual bug fixes, balancing changes, and quality of life improvements. Do note that there is a paid DLC named Red Trees, but that is cosmetic only, but the content itself is completely free, so do check it out via the link below, where it just so happens to be 30% off for the Steam summer sale as well. The developers of Pixel Samurai did reach out to me, being a 2-person student team who made this small little title, being a boss-focused action game that looks pretty good, where you need to parry attacks or face death. It is a smaller game for sure, but I hope this helps the next generation of game developers just a little. While I don't usually cover racing games, somehow Neodori Forever spoke to me, likely due to the lo-fi 3D graphics, which is nostalgic. Aside from indie developers, they don't quite make games like this anymore, but the super strange looking drifting physics needs to be mastered. A very well-received free beat-em-up title is MannaRites, which, admittedly, does look rather low fidelity as well, but somehow the developer continues to support this with the Adrenaline free update that also brings it to version 1.0. It adds a new monk martial artist character, upgrades the wizard character and adds new enemies, a new mode, quests, potions, levels and more, where for free you could do much worse, so grab a friend and dive in. Another 1.0 release of interest is Mech Armada, a turn-based tactics roguelite that is great, looking like 3D Into the Breach but does have a twist of its own. Here, you are customizing and building the mechs yourself, which is fun, and does also have tactical depth in the combat, where terrain and elevation needs to be considered. Due to the grid size in battle, it does feel more like chess, which has tactical implications, definitely being something that I would recommend. Let's kick off the top 3 with Frozenheim, a real-time strategy game with base building elements, where this was also released out of early access. It is a Norse-themed title where you need to manage your colony and keep them alive, ensuring that they have enough resources to survive harsh winters. The base building and systems are serviceable, but where it gets interesting is that as Vikings, of course you need to train warriors and build longships to go on raids. I really like the look of this, but there are of course some rough edges like pathfinding and animation issues, but it's pretty decent overall. We also have the 1.0 release of Edge of the Abyss Awaken, a third-person Souls-like roguelite that comes to us from a Chinese developer, having challenging combat, flashy animations, and a decent look. I said that there will be more 3D roguelites moving forward, and here we are, with this being a decent example of what we can expect to see in the future. Interestingly, it has a focus on 3-player co-op, where it seems rather tough in single player, so perhaps more balancing changes are required. Despite being a 1.0 release, some people do feel like this game is still incomplete, so certainly proceed with caution. A surprise release that I'm interested in is Dread Delusion, a first-person open-world RPG with the PSX era graphics, which is a very interesting choice. I would compare this to an immersive sim crossed with an Elder Scrolls game, with plenty of curious locations to explore and weird characters to meet. It is in early access and has some ways to go, but it's about as indie can get, taking the #1 spot. For more first-person games, watch these videos and I will see you after the jump.